Hello. I'm just making sure my microphone's actually turned on. Where are we? Oh, yeah, we want that one. And yep, that looks pretty good. Cool. Welcome, everybody. If you're here, just let me know you can see stuff. Gonna pump the Discord. I always get the arrow wrong. That way. Join the Discord. It's cool. Lots of people in there hanging out, talking about Counter-Strike. Lots of people supporting complexity. It's a nice place to be. Don't forget to go to the shop where you can buy this complexity. I've nailed it. I learned it last week and I've absolutely nailed it this year. Look at this. Don't forget to get the jersey. Damn, look at this. I'm learning so much about this this whole system this week. Cool. I'm assuming that everyone can hear me. If you can't hear me and I'm just rambling on about nothing, please let me know, but I think it's working fine. Cool. Lots of things to go through this week. Lots of interesting small little things that have happened over the course of the last few days. And yeah, just, well, it's been a bit of a, I don't know, bit of a lull. No matches in the major since Sunday. So a few things to, what do you say? A few days of nothing. Let's jump right in then with, I guess the most important bit of news that's happened this week was Valve decided to jump in and change some rules. They changed some rules both. Actually, when did they do this one? Did they do this one June the 9th? Okay, actually, so they removed the MRQs at the end before last week's show. Oh yeah, we spoke about it on last week's show, didn't we? That's right. We spoke about it on last week's show. So, yeah, we do have some information to go back on with that. So let's jump into this week's change, which was sort of a compounding change to the one they made prior. So let's just throw up this. Hopefully you guys can all see that. Yeah, you certainly can see that. Let's make it bigger. Can I make it bigger than that? Not without making it horrible for myself. That kind of works. Alrighty. Wait, does it work on a smaller screen? Not really. We can go full screen. Hold on. Let's have you guys just watch this. So these are the changes that Valve made to the. This is to the ranking. So this is specifically made to the regional standings, to the ranking. So where you have these official global ranks, these are the official ones. Where these are, they've made a change, and it's a pretty significant change if you haven't seen the news already. So they made two changes to the model, really, or two main parts to it. So updating the regional representation, so teams only appear on a single VRS list. That's the first part. And in case of a tie, the team is assigned to the stronger of the two regions. So what this is going to fix, and we'll just, since it currently shows now, is let's just grab Europe and Americas. So this is the latest Americas ranking. And as you can see, Liquid 1538 and Wildcard 1037. And if we switch to the latest Europe ranking, you can see Liquid at 1538 and Wildcard at 1037. So what this change is aiming to fix is that teams can only appear on a single VRS list, and if they do appear on multiple, or they would appear on multiple under the previous rules, they are assigned to the stronger of the two regions. So where in the past, so again, red code is code that's been removed, and green code is code that's been added. Where in the past they would be assigned to both regions, they now get assigned based on the region priority, which you can see is Europe, Americas, Asia. So this is priority that should follow the relative number of regional invitations in the major supplemental rulebook. And this, again, it's a very small change actually in terms of the amount of code they've added. So what they've essentially done is in this file here, the region file, they've added this get region priority part. And then at the very bottom, they've added this line here pretty much, and this function to get the region priority. And the way this part here is the way it's always worked in the past, which is basically it calculates the players' countries across the team, and then it basically says if the regions is equal to EU, then it returns 0. If it's NA or SA, so Americas, it returns 1, and if not, it returns 2. So basically, if you're European, 0. If you're Americas, 1. And anything else, it returns 2. And interestingly, you'll notice here that there are South America, Oceania, North America, Europe, and then you've got Asia, and you've also got Africa. So anything that's Africa, Asia, or Oceania gets set as 2. And the way this works, if you don't know how computers start counting, they start as 0. So if it's EU, it returns 3. If it's NA or SA, it returns 2. And if it's Asia, it returns 1. Because this is position 0, this is position 1, and this is position 2. And those correspond to those regions. So yeah, essentially nothing much has really changed there except for the priority aspect. And then I think it's in the team. Yeah, the team now just has this line of code added here, which basically returns the region and sends it to only one region. So it's a pretty small change in terms of the code. What is significant, though, is... Oh, I'm back. What is significant in terms of this change is, well, it affects all third-party events. So the previous change that we saw, which was the rules for the major, the previous change that we saw for the major rules only affected the majors. So where we've got, I'll just send it up again quickly, this part here. Oh, where are we? Oh, I might lose you. My Chrome is not responding. Oh God. What is going on? I think I'm going to crash. My Chrome has given up the ghost. I think I'm back. I hope I'm back. That wasn't too long. Cool. Let's jump straight back in. I was trying to share a tab and all of a sudden it just went bloop and died. And I've just lost a light. Oh no, I've lost a light. Hold on. That means I'm probably going to lose the other one in just a second as well. Let's see if I can plug it in. Oh God, everything is going wrong. I thought these lights had a bit more battery than that. 1 second. There we go. All right, I'm probably going to lose the other one in a minute, but let's actually let's turn it off while you guys don't see me and we scroll down this. So yes, what they removed this time, or what the main part they changed this time, was these 2 lines here, which was a team's region is determined by the region of the VRS they are invited from. So this is, if people remember, this is the wild card, or the STU2K loophole that was abused, essentially, where once your region was determined via the invitation, your region was locked in, and as long as you still met the base requirements for that invite, you would not change your regional assignment. So what basically Wildcard did was they changed their region so that they were only from North America by essentially removing the second European player. And then when they did that, it meant that when they switched back to that is way too dark, isn't it? Let's get rid of that for now. Let's just go back to this. So when they switched back to their normal roster, technically their regional assignment hadn't changed because they still met the requirements of being a North American team by having 2 North Americans, 2 Europeans, and 1 Asia. I'm not going to call Sonic Asian because that sounds wrong, but that's what they're classified as, rest of the world. The change they made here is a team's regional assignment is the region represented by the majority of its players. So, and now because there's no qualifiers or anything like that, the only way you can now be invited is, the only way you can now attend the major is via an invite. And the only way that you would be invited is from if you had 2-2-1, you would then fall into the regional assignment tiebreaker and you would automatically be assigned as Europe, Americas, and then Asia. Since there's only now 1 roster registration period for the major, the roster that you have at the point where you accept the invite would be the region that you're locked into. So it's a pretty clear-cut fix. It doesn't really allow any kind of loopholes. And then what's happened is essentially now that Valve have now codified that change into third-party events as well. So with that happening, teams will only be able to be represented from 1 region, which is, I think, a pretty good move. I think it removes a lot of potential for abuse. It's not the solution that I suggested. I will say that. I think mine was a lot more. I don't want to say the word flexible, but mine allowed for teams to have multiple representing regions, but only play within 1 region. Which, I don't necessarily not like the version that Valve have done. I think it's potentially a lot more harsh to teams at the lower end. I'm talking like teams that potentially like a Fisher College style team that potentially has like international students or things like that. They could get miscategorized or wrongly categorized that essentially could limit them playing in the ecosystem at all. Whereas obviously a team like Liquid or Wildcard, this is very clear cut and, completely just tells them, hey, you're European now, which I'm fine with. So there is some negative aspects to this beyond, if you're just Wildcard or Liquid, you're now forced to be European. I'm sure neither of them especially like that. I don't think they are the problem. I think that is an intentional fix for that issue. I think that was Valve's full intention to fix that. So, I don't think there's going to be any tears shed for them, so to speak. But I do think that, again, at the lower end of things, there could be some unintended consequences. But, I think there's also an element of, yes, we obviously need to cater for everyone, but there's a certain point where it's like, is this completely relevant to you? And, the argument may just be that it's not, but I'm not sure I 100% agree with that, because I think the game and the ecosystem should be accessible to everyone, but I also recognize that you can't cater to absolutely everyone without some pretty crazy exceptions. So it'll be interesting to see how this shapes out. I don't think it'll be too much of an issue outside of actually outside of North America, because I don't think there are too many. I don't think there are too many cross-continental teams that exist outside of North America. I suppose the only other one could be Furia, but realistically, they're probably not going to drop another Brazilian. So I think they'll probably be fine. And then, you know, a lot of the like Australian teams who get foreign players tend to be already from Asia anyway. So I think they'll also be fine. I'm just going to put this up there now. Sushi Bear QT, what do you think? What do you think went well with the major, and what do you think went bad? I'm just going to say that I am contractually obligated not to say anything negative about the major, so I'm not answering that question. Cool. That answered that, I think, pretty well. So, what else was there that I had on my list? I'm sorry I was late today. My son decided that he just didn't want to close his eyes and actually go to sleep. So, yeah, he just took a little while. So that's why I was late. I'm very sorry about that. We will still go for the full hour. I don't even know when I started at this point, and I will probably end up going for more than an hour anyway. Feel free to keep sending questions in the chat, and I will keep answering them as and when I can. What was next on the list? Okay, we talked about Glitched last week. Glitched was won by Passion UA, who are coached by our former coach. Shout out to TC for not understanding a word of Ukrainian and somehow coaching a team to win a land. I think that's mighty impressive. Congratulations to him. That was an interesting one. They did a full lower bracket run. I don't know if you guys saw that the schedule for that glitch land was crazy. Like, these guys played, like, I think they played 4 best of 3s, and 3 of them went 2-1. So they played 11 maps of Counter-Strike in one day, which I think is just bonkers. But yeah. Yeah, they played Fnatic 2-0 in the final. They played 9-2-1 in the lower bracket final. They played Ecstatic, and they played Alliance, and that was all on the 15th. So they played 11 maps of Counter-Strike back to back to back, which I think is just crazy. So they played 10 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 9 o'clock. Oh, so they started their 4th best of 3 11 hours after they started their first best of 3. I mean, I respect that. That's some serious that's some serious gaming. That's how we used to do it back in the old days, that is. What else have we got? I mean, we can just jump in on the major quickly. I haven't done my pick'ems for a while now. As in, like, I remember doing them with you guys. Let's have a look. What the hell? Can I remove that? Can I get rid of this? Apparently not. How do I undo? Okay, that's weird. I don't quite understand why this is pre-filled in. Like, I haven't filled this in. This isn't me. I don't know why this is already filled in. Like, I can't get rid of it. I suppose somebody has to win. So, all right, I'm going to do my pick'ems with you guys for the playoffs. I have done these in game. I have not been doing very well. My silver coin is looking very, very, very sad at this point in time, along with, I guess, most of yours. So, yeah, let's just dive right in here. Spirit or Mouse? Spirit. Furia Pain. Furia. Phase. Mongols Phase. Vitality. Spirit. Vitality. Rematch of Shanghai, or rematch of... Actually, no, this hasn't been a major final, has it? FaZe played... Who did FaZe play? Oh, FaZe played Na'Vi in the Copenhagen final, right? So that hasn't been... FaZe versus Vitality. I might just leave it there. I think FaZe can, if they can make it like if they can get going, like beat Navi, I think they can win the major. Like legitimately, I think they can just win the major outright. So I'm leaving it like this. I think there's a lot of possibilities for any team actually to really come out of this. Like Navi are not bad. The Mongols can fuck people up on any day if they choose to. I mean, Pain might be the outlier. Pain might be the outlier. They don't have the arena experience. They don't have the super hard hitting players. I think Pain, if they make it past Furia, will struggle against either FaZe or the Mongols. So I think they might be the outlier here. And then Spirit and Mouse, I mean, again, both of them clearly have championship level capabilities. And yeah, it kind of sucks that Spirit, Vitality, Mouse, and Navi are in the same side of the bracket, but at the same time, it's going to give us some crazy matches the whole way through. Like, none of these matches are going to be bad matches. Like, FaZe versus the Mongols could be an absolute shit show, which could be really fucking cool. Like, a shit show in a good way. And then Furia Pain, I mean, Brazil on Brazil, that's always going to be fun. This is going to be a banger. This has the potential to be a whitewash or a banger. Like, I don't see a single bad matchup in this entire playoffs. Like, this is one of the best, strongest playoffs we've had for a long time. Like, comparing to the fact that we had this as a playoffs at one point, like, you know, we're eating pretty good this week. Like, this was a terrible playoffs. I think Vitality played like the three of the five lowest ranked teams to ever make a major playoffs was Vitality's run to the play. Like this was just not it. 2024 Copenhagen. This is the RMR. My bad. Where are we? Here we go. Like this is a sick playoffs. I don't quite know how this Cloud9 team made it, but they did. You know, Eternal Fire, this is before they really had their glow up, but still like a really solid team, you know, great team. Like this could easily have been, wait, this is not how the matches ended though, is it? Right? This is how the matches ended. Or am I crazy here? This is PGL Major 2024, but the matches are wrong. Because Navi won this. This is wrong. Navi played FaZe in the final. So it must have been something like that, right? Does that make sense? That makes sense, right? Yeah, that makes sense. Why was it wrong? It was pre-filled in and wrong. Yeah, this is correct. That was weird. Why was Copenhagen? It's like see that match has filled itself in, but these ones haven't. But this is also just wrong because FaZe played in the final. I don't know what's going on. That's what actually happened. What was 22 Rio? I mean, this was decent teams, but not a great major playoffs. Like I think this year we've got some of the best playoffs that you can have. I think this is sick. So I'm really happy right now with the playoffs. I think it's going to be a really fun week. If anyone's going down there, enjoy the ambiance, so to speak. Enjoy the event. It should be fucking cool. Blast tend to do a very good arena show. They tend to focus a lot on the people inside the arena and give them lots of love. So I'm sure. One sec. I need to cough. I'm just going to mute. Wonderful. I'm sure that it's going to be a fun week for them. So enjoy everyone who's there. I'm jealous I cannot be there, but it probably would have been quite a drain on finances to keep me there for another. What would it have been? I flew home on like the 7th. So yeah, keep me there for another 2 weeks at like $160 a night in the hotel. Yeah, I don't think Jason would have appreciated me asking about that. So I'm I think it's reasonable that I came home. Yeah, it's like $2,500 just in hotel just to keep me there. So yeah, not worth it. But yeah, we live, and hopefully we'll make a major playoffs soon. It would be nice. I know we came super close back at what, Copenhagen 2024. We went 2-0. Although I saw some stats about that recently. Actually, it was quite interesting. I think it was my good friend Ezio who went through and did it. He's not a good friend, but he's a friend. Where is it? Here we go. He did an interesting Twitter thread. I'll bring it up quickly. Here we go. Yeah, BO1s and MR12s at the major. So he's compared the major BO1s in CSGO versus CS2 because the idea that you can fluke your way into what is it, the playoffs, essentially, by going 2-0 in the BO1s, and then obviously you then go into the BO3s and you have to win one, which is what we did. So yeah, in CS2 so far, they've had 7 teams from 28 who go 2-0, failed to progress from going 2-0. In CSGO, it was 5 of 72. So what that's basically saying is that, in triple the amount of majors or something like that. So they've had more teams have failed out of 28 than less teams in 72. So 25% of teams who made it 2-0 in the major, in the Swiss stage, have failed. Us being one of them. Which is a crazy stat. But then, you've got to remember this part here. He said MR12s at the major. So I think what you can potentially say is that teams who are upsetting a lot more in the in the MR12 potentially than they were in MR15. That's one thing you can say. There is an interesting factoid that I need to look into as well regarding all this, because one thing that he hasn't accounted for, which I should message him about to see if he can figure out, is when we did the change from 1 versus 16 to 1 versus 9 matchups. Because that would have been towards the end of CSGO, but I don't remember when. I don't remember which major. I know it was towards the end of CSGO, but I don't remember which major it was. Was it Paris? Is Paris where it changed? I don't remember which one it was. Okay, no, Paris was 1, but was 1 versus 16. So was it Copenhagen? Yeah, it was Copenhagen. So that's an interesting point, I think. Is that from CS2 as well. Do you know what? Let's do some more tweeting while we're responding. CSGO used. Where are we? Cool. Responding to people live. We could do this all day. I'm not going to show you my notifications That's a bad idea. Actually, that's not too bad. Notifications is fine. I'm not going to show anything else. I remember once I put my messages up and that was bad. That was really bad when I put my messages up. Especially when you're in the middle of interviewing coaches and everything else. Your Twitter messages can be quite revealing. So, yeah, that had to get scrubbed from existence just for everyone's sanity and privacy. What else was there? Oh, I remember what else there was. Now, since nobody else has actually picked up on this, I'm bored and decided to do this myself because it's frustrating me, again, that people don't share news and information and, just things that are wrong in general. So... yeah, let's I don't know I don't know if roster. I don't know if Blast, here we go. They did release it. Cool. So we can do this. So, here we go. All the majors at the Blast TV Austin Major. This was posted by Blast on May the 9th. So this was just after the roster lock. And there are... well, let's see if they haven't edited this first before I bring it up, because they hadn't at the time. No, they haven't edited it. Cool. So, something I noticed mid-major, and this is some seriously anal shit that I'm going through here. So this is team rosters. This is still the same rule that applied at the point of the previous major, or this major, should I say, because it hasn't changed. This is the same rule. Team roster may optionally include one substitute player that, were they to replace any core player, so the core player is any of the 5 registered players. So for example, Horzerk was our core player. He was our core player. Junior was the sub. Team roster may optionally include one substitute that, were they to replace any core player, would not alter the regional assignment of the core lineup. So, the regional assignment is... okay, this rule has changed, so we do need to go back quickly just to get the right regional assignment part. Let's just go back here and read the old rule. So the old rule was just a team's region is determined by the region of the VRS with which they have been invited. So in the case of Liquid, they were invited via the Americas region. And in the case of M80, we will say, they were invited via the Americas region as well. So if you were to not change, and we need to read the rule fully here, because this one's interesting. It says, were they to replace any, and the key word here is any core player. So, if you take Liquid as the first example here, so if JKS was to replace any core player on this team, would he change their regional assignment? And the answer is yes. If JKS was to sub in for Twists, they would then only have one Americas player, and that means that they would change their regional assignment. So JKS should never have been allowed to be the substitute for Team Liquid. He should never have been submitted by Liquid, and he should never have been accepted by Blast. The fact that Blast allowed this broke the rules. Technically, I don't think it actually says it on here, so we can maybe give them the benefit of the doubt, but I seem to also recall that Def was officially the sub for M80, and obviously, same thing for him. If he had replaced either of Slacks or Sin, either of Swisher, Lake, or Rec, he would have changed the team from being 3 North Americans, 2 Europeans, to 3 Europeans and 2 North Americans. So that was also another one where Blast shouldn't have allowed him to be the sub. They haven't listed him as a sub, but they've also noticed that any time that a team didn't list a sub and a coach, typically the coach was also the sub. but they just didn't list it for some reason. So yeah, make that what you will. Just thought it was an interesting fact that none of this was ever published. As far as I know, yeah, basically, I don't even know if the teams were informed that they had an ineligible substitute. I know that Blast were informed by me and confirmed that this was incorrect and they shouldn't have been allowed. But it should also have been caught much earlier. So yeah, that's another little fun thing going on behind the scenes that no one will ever hear about. Not the most fun thing, but this is the kind of shit I get up to because I have a problem, and it mostly revolves around reading a GitHub 10 times a day and trying to figure out what the fuck is going on. Jumping back quickly while I'm with you, I do have one thought on what Valve did with the rankings, and if if anyone from Liquid or Wildcard happens to be listening to this, I feel very bad for you because you've kind of been screwed. I don't know how badly you've been screwed because I haven't gone through and actually checked what exactly the repercussions of this could be. But let's just remind ourselves of the change that happened. So the change was in the current ranking code, which will next update potentially after the major. I don't know if Valve will do an update after the major as like a live update, but it certainly won't be an invitation update. The invitation update is due to come on the 7th of July. It's due to come on the 7th of July. Now, what this means is that only matches between now and the 7th of July can change your team roster. So, if you are wildcard, which we can pretend we are for a second. Where are we? There we go. All right. So, if you pretend you're wildcard for a second, your roster is Stanislaw, Susp, Sonic, FaZe, JBA. So North America, Europe, Asia, North America, Europe. So as we established earlier, wildcards are now a European team. Due to the 2 Europeans and not having another majority of North Americans, they will default to European. So on the next update, which goes out in July, if they do not play a match between now and the 7th of July with a North American majority roster, wildcard will be classified as European. But that means that every single invite that they could receive during the whole of July until the August update will be European, not North American. And Valve have essentially given teams 2 weeks to figure that out during the major / during the player break. So, like, what if Wildcard was still in the major? What if Liquid was still in the major? I mean, the same applies to Liquid. I think the issue is less damaging for them because of how highly ranked they are. Because Liquid are already ranked 14, they'll pretty much get all the global invitations that they want. I think the only one they'll miss out on is Blast Open, because Blast Open stops at 12. But like pretty much all the other invitations, I think like actually I'm not sure what rank they are right now because this obviously isn't a live ranking. Let's just bring up the live ranking quickly. Okay, so there's 16 right now. They could get easily overtaken by Pain in the next day. That could be a pretty quick thing that could happen. But for example, like CSC does 10 global invites, so they'll miss that one. Wait, CSC does 10? I thought that was... Oh no, I'm thinking of Fisher that does more than that. Yeah, so they won't get CSC, but like Fisher Playground 2, they're actually predicted to miss out on Fisher Playground 2 regardless. So Liquid are in a bit more trouble than I thought they were. The thing is with Fisher and Starladder is they both take place on the same week, as far as I remember. So This one doesn't really matter too much. But yeah, they will get one of them. It sucks that they're dropping out of top 16, but it is what it is. So where it might be relevant is okay. It looks like HLTV don't have all the information in here quite yet. But if we look at, for example, like if you think of all the CCTs that are going to happen, Liquid are now not going to get invited to the North American CCT. They're only going to get invited to the European one. Same would apply for Wildcard. And they've essentially been given 2 weeks' notice to fix their roster when there's no matches to play because it's in the middle of the player break. Like, I don't think that Wildcard can play any matches in North America in the next. Like, can they play anything in the next before the 7th of July? No, they can't. There's like literally nothing they can play. Like, there's not, like, these are already ongoing, right? And they're not. I don't think they're in the Eagle Masters. Yeah, this is playoffs. They're not in it. So they have no way of changing their roster, which means that they are essentially locked into being a European team for all of the invites that may come in July, which could be pretty significant. I mean, one example would be this one. Actually, no, this one out on the June update. So this will be, ooh. Yeah, this went out on the June update, so they should actually already be invited for this. We got the invite for this a few days ago, or like a day ago. So this one actually they should be okay with. So they should have the Thunder pick, so they can at least play this to reset before August if they want to. Except that it takes place July 24th. A wildcard? No, they're too low. Okay, no, wildcard are not going to be getting a. Wildcard are not going to be getting a Cologne invite, right? Or a Bounty invite. So they're going to be in North America to start the year off. I think. Right? They're not even close to a Bounty, right? Yeah, 42. Okay. Is there any North American teams that are going to get an invite to this apart from us? No, because they're going to be, yeah, they are now officially European. Yeah, they're officially European. So obviously there's the other Americas teams, the Brazilian guys, but there's no other North American team that's going to get invited to this. So it's actually just going to be us. We're going to be the only team that's in Europe to start off the year, which means that a lot of these qualifiers are going to be quite interesting. So I can't share this tab because it's our calendar, so I can't really share it, but. So while we're going to go to Fisher, so I'll tell you what, I'll bring the calendar up. So we are going to attend Fisher. We're going to attend IEM. Man, my throat it's just like this little thing in the back of my little throat that's just making me have a little, I don't know, what's the word? It's like a little tickle. Fisher Playground 1 will be attending. We'll be attending IEM Cologne 2025 stage 1, and then IEM Cologne hopefully the second stage. I mean, hopefully we can get through this top 8, get through. I mean, I'd like to think we can win 2 or 3 matches in that and get through, but it's it's not easy, some of these teams. I mean, like, I don't know if Simple's still going to be playing for FaZe. I assume he will be, but yeah, there's some tough teams in there, so we need to be at least we have our favorite Norwegian guy back by this point. That'll be a big boost for us. But yeah, we'll be playing this, and then we'll be playing the Blast Bounty Season 2. Because it's impossible. We can't fall out of the rankings for this now. So we're going to be in July in Europe from sort of mid-July through to the end of July, through to August, through to August 10th. And then, I mean, maybe even up until this, like, if we make top 8 at the Bounty, we're going to be in Europe for a long time. And during that time, there is the qualifier for ESL Pro League. The North American online qualifier for ESL Pro League takes place during that time. the North American qualifier for Starladder Series something takes place during that time. So yeah, so we've got this qualifier, ESL Pro League Season 2022 North American qualifier takes place on the 11th to the 14th. Bear in mind that we have to be in Europe by the 5th. The first match starts on the 15th, which means we have to be there on the 14th. We are going to be there on the 12th. So the media days on the 14th, matches start 15th. The arrival days are 12th or 13th. We plan to arrive there on the 12th. To Belgrade, that is. We might travel to Europe earlier for a small boot camp. But yeah, this qualifier starts extremely early. And then there's also, straight after that, is the Starladder Star Series Fall 2025 North American qualifier, which starts on the 15th and ends on the 21st. So another qualifier, another qualifier we can't play. Then there is also Blast Open Fall, which I don't think we can play either. Yeah, correct. So Blast Rising Ace North America Masters Fall takes place on the 1st of August until the 3rd of August, and that is during the end of Cologne. But bearing in mind that the bounty starts on the 5th of August, if we wanted to play that and then travel on the 4th of August, we couldn't be in Europe by the 5th of August to play. So Blast have double booked North American and South American and Asian teams, I think, potentially with that. I don't actually know where the SA and Asia ones are. Yeah, so South America's at the same time and Asia's at the same time. So if you want to play the first Blast event, which is online in Europe, you can't play the qualifiers for the second event, which is basically fuck you. So yeah, great job Blast, fantastic, really fucking smart. In no way at all is that smart, but it is what it is. Oh, there you go. This is the first event that Wildcard won't qualify for. If they stay a European team, they won't be able to get the invite to Ace North American Masters. So this will be without us. This will be without Wildcard. So this will be MAT, NRG, Blue Jays, and I don't even know who the fourth team in North America is after that. But that's who this will be. Great job, Blast, scheduling over your own events. Really, really smart. Couldn't possibly think of any other way to fix it. Yeah, so should also be noted that the Blast Fall Finals are also during the playoffs for Cologne, which means that if you're even like a Furia, I think Furia might not even, Furia ranked 9 in the world right now, so they might just squeeze it. But if you were 13th in the world, then you would have to go play the qualifiers. So that would be quite rough. What else? What other qualifiers were there that could be a problem? That might be it, actually. There's still 6 slots for CAC, the Chinese event by Perfect World, that don't have qualifiers for yet, which would be nice to know when they're going to be. But yeah, we're essentially going to miss out on the qualifiers for, well, so let's start from here. So we're definitely not at this event. We're going to miss the qualifiers for this event. We are going to miss the qualifiers for this event. And this event, we will likely attend the Fisher Playground 2 or Starladder anyway, because they're both on the same dates. So I think this has 16 teams and this has 16 teams, and both of them are on the same dates. So there's no way that we're not going to get invited for this, because in theory that would have to be the top 32 teams in the world. In fact, I think this is actually 20 teams, because I think 4 teams get invited. Yeah, 4 teams get invited to the playoffs, and then 16 teams get invited. Oh no, then 16 teams get invited here, and then there's the qualifiers. So yeah, there's 16 invites here and there's 16 invites there. I'm sure we'll get invited to one of the other. So we're going to be fine in terms of these two events. So actually missing out on the start out of qualifiers, doesn't really matter. Not the biggest issue, but missing out on Pro League sucks. Missing out on the last qualifier sucks. So it does mean that our calendar towards, I think, like, yeah, so from like the middle of August to like early September is going to be pretty empty. We're going to have like 3 or 4 weeks off, with nothing to really play because this ends before that. Again, yeah, also, yeah, Thunderpick World Championship also takes place during the period where we are in Europe, so we can't play that either. We also can't play Fragadelphia 19 because it takes place when we're in Europe. So yeah, we're missing out on a lot of qualifiers. Like I said, there's still potentially qualifiers for this, but we don't know the dates yet. And this is inviting from the July update. So I assume they will do some qualifiers pretty soon for this, because they have to invite us based on this date. So that's going to be an interesting one. Same kind of thing in October. Pro League will end, and then there's CAC, Thunderpick, Roubaix, and Mesa on the same dates. So I think this was like 16 teams. This is like another top 8 teams or something. And then there's top teams in this one. The Thunderpick World Championship one is kind of fucked up. I'll explain why. But Thunderpick is inviting quite late, I think, for theirs. Actually, maybe that's okay. Maybe that's not too bad. I mean, Thunderpick has its issues with their event in terms of, so they're inviting on the August update. That might actually save them, weirdly, because I know that the CAC is inviting on the July update, so teams will fill up CAC before they accept Thunderpick, which could make Thunderpick quite weak actually, because if you've already accepted this event, you're not going to accept these or the closed qualifier invites. And there's a lot of closed qualifier invites. So I imagine we'll get either CAC or Thunderpick. And if we don't get either of those, we'll get Mesa Nomadic Masters, which I'd love to go to Ulaanbaatar in October. I've heard it's freezing cold. Weather, October. Yeah, it's cold. In Celsius, they say it's like a high of 6 degrees, and it's like goes down to -8. It doesn't rain, apparently. It doesn't rain during those days, but it is cold. Let's just. I'm glad it's not in November. Hold on, I'm going to share this tab. This is in Celsius. So let's switch it to Fahrenheit for you guys. Glad it's not in November or December, because holy shit, that is some cold ass weather. For the Euros over here, -27 lows, -14 high in Ulaanbaatar in December. I am not going to Mongolian event in December, January, February, maybe even March. Like, that is cold. That is really, really cold. October, I can deal with that. That's kind of like Denmark in the worst. This is like the worst of Denmark in October, but there's like this area of Denmark. Yeah, we can deal with that. That's fine. I don't mind going to Mongolia in the middle of October. That's not a problem. We can do this. I think between these events, like CSE will fill up very quickly. It's 16 teams, or no, it's 12 teams. No, 10 teams. 10 invites global, and then qualifiers. Interesting that they have specific qualifiers, and Liquipedia just has TBA. So there is a North American qualifier apparently for CAC. We'll find out when that is at some point. Do you know what? I might just email Perfect World right now. I'm not showing my email. I might. No, I'm not good. What's his name? Crap. The Perfect World guys have very interesting email addresses. I need to search for them. Here we go. Can I find Brian? There's a guy called Brian at Perfect World. Screw it. I'm just going to email him. Look, I'm working while I'm doing the show. This is perfect. This is efficiency. See. Cool. Sent an email over to Perfect World asking when the qualifiers are going to be. Maybe they'll respond. We'll see. There you go. That's efficiency. That is. So, yeah, it looks like. We can just go through the events again. So, it looks like we're going to do Fisher, Cologne, Bounty. We're not going to play EWC. We're likely not going to play Blast Open. Well, we can't qualify and we're not going to get invited, most likely. So, not going to play Blast Open. We're not going to play Pro League, almost certainly. We will either go to Fisher or Star Ladder. I don't know which events the other teams are going to want to go to. I haven't really looked at it too much. Both of them have reasonable remuneration, I guess you could say, to them. So I don't think there's any super... how do you say, reason to go to one or the other. I think they both offer good options for both. I think that the top teams may go to Star Ladder because they get invited to the second stage already, so they already played the top 8 stage, so they don't have to play the stage 1, which kind of puts them quite deep into the tournament. I mean, okay, we don't have the prize distribution yet, but it's 500k for 8 teams. I imagine it'll be quite high for the first team. So I think the top teams might prefer Star Ladder. But then it will just leave spots open at Fisher. So I'm pretty confident about these two. Can't remember when the invite for Fisher is. Is it July as well? Yeah, it's July as well. So, well, it's end of July, but July ranking. So, yeah, the VRS date is the July 7th, but they're going to send the invites at the end of July to give themselves a time. Here we go. Okay, so so Fisher is 500k player share, 750,000 club share. That's definitely different to the first one. The first one we're attending definitely doesn't have that. Hold on. Yeah, the first one we're attending is lower. It's 450 player share, 550 club share. We picked the wrong one. There's 250k missing, 200 on the club share, 50k on the player share. Interesting. Okay, so you have to win one match to get 5k club share. You win 2 matches. Ooh. 2 matches, you get 32,500. Damn. I actually don't know what the format is for this event either. Okay. Oh, okay. Hold on. So yeah, if you win 2 matches in your group, you finish top 8, and that guarantees you 32k in club share, 17k in prize money. But it is groups, so if you got a shit group, you just shit out of luck. If you get a good group, you might be okay. But still, that's wow. If that's going up, if this is going up when it goes to the next event, I mean, I think, okay, here we go. Wow, you win 2 matches, you get 50k in the bank for your club. Jason, I think I found the event we're going to go to. You get 5k just for going in this one. They've distributed a lot of money to the. Okay, this must be Swiss. Okay, so the second event is Swiss. You can tell because it has 15 to 16, not 13 to 16. So you get money automatically for playing this one. So they've distributed higher and lower. There's more to the top end and there's more to the bottom end, which makes sense because they've got 200,000 to add. So they've added a little bit to each bit, and then 50k has gone basically just up here. Interesting. So in this one, you actually have to win 3 matches to make top 8 because you have to get through the Swiss stage. So this is more proportional, I suppose, because if you win 2 matches, you get 13k. So wait, you win 2 matches in the first tournament, you get 32k. You win 2 matches in this tournament, you get 13k. I'm talking just club share right now. That's a big jump. That's a big jump from playoffs to non-playoffs. But I suppose it's fine. I mean, this is technically... I mean, actually, no, I don't agree with that. I think prize pool... I think that prize pool is kind of wrong. Because, like, if you're a 3-2 team versus a 2-3 team, and then you finished, like, 5th to 8th and 9th to 11th, like, that's a big gap, right? Like, the way I've always thought about it is, like, you get, like, a decent incentive for making the next stage. And this is also where I was at, actually. We can go look at it, because PGL did it recently. I think they did it quite well, actually. So, yeah, they kind of did it quite well here. So, like, once, like, the difference between 5th to 8th and 4th isn't that big. But the thing is, when you make it to the semi-finals, you still have the opportunity to make it to the finals. So the incentive shouldn't be all that big just to make it to the semi-finals. The incentive should be for placement. So what PGL did, which I think was quite good, was they put quite a big emphasis on the gap between 3rd and 4th, and then actually 2nd to 3rd is quite close, because once you make the semi-finals, everyone's like kind of, you know, done quite well, but there's still the incentive to earn some more prize money. So you still obviously want to win, get to the final. So the gap between, you know, making the bare minimum and the next gap is 50,000. So, like, you know that your incentive for the semi-finals is a minimum of 50,000, and you can still win the grand prize. So you don't need to incentivize so heavily, so the 3rd place can be, like, still a big jump as well. Like, 2nd to 3rd should actually be a lot closer than, like, 4th to 3rd, in my opinion, which it is in this case, because you want to incentivize people to play the 3rd, 4th place matchup, whereas obviously you're still going to be incentivized to play the final for the big jump anyway. So this should be like the baseline, and then you should, like, have a big match, a big gap to the 3rd place, which gives a lot of weight to this match. And then obviously, you know, then it hopefully should mean that all your playoff matches are, you know, hard fought, and everyone, you know, is trying their best because of the value you can get from it. Yeah, just my thoughts on it. I think PGL did it quite well. Like, I much prefer this to this. Like, this is just like, yeah, you double your prize money and everything else, but, like, I don't know, it just feels like, I mean, there's no 3rd, 4th place matchup here, so it doesn't really matter too much. But, like, if you were to take the same prize allocation and then split this up, like, what would you do? Bear in mind, like, you've got to give a little bit more money than 5th and 6th, so it's got to be, like, what, 15,000? Like, yeah, you actually can't do it, can you? Oh, I suppose it's 50k, right? It's a 50k allocation because it's 2 teams. So you could do, like, 20k, but, like, 20k versus 30k for this match, like, probably not enough, right? So then you'd do 15,000 versus 35,000? Maybe that's, but then, like, the 15,000 is hardly a jump on this. So, but then you get 2 shots. You can play first time to get minimum 50,000, and you can play the second time to get 35,000. So, yeah, maybe it's okay. I don't know. I prefer PGL's version. I also just prefer having 3rd place matches. I think they're more valuable in the current ecosystem than just not playing them at all. I think they serve a good purpose on the final day of broadcast and everything else. So, yeah. Gonna go back to it one last time. Our events for the rest of this year basically is Fisher, Cologne, Bounty, skipping EWC. Well, not invited to EWC. Likely not going to play Blast Open. Going to play either Fisher or Starladder. It sounds like we're going to play Fisher. Sorry, sounds like we're going to play Fisher if we get the opportunity, based on the financials involved. Would love to play this. Like if we're in, I suppose technically the difference here is that if you play Fisher between September 9th and 21st, you can't play the Thunderpick World Championship. Whereas if you play Starladder starting on the 13th, you could play the Thunderpick World Championship. So that could be the deciding factor here. So you've got Legacy, Navi Junior, 4 more teams from the qualifiers, 2 wild cards, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 global invites. And bear in mind that this event takes place at the same time as the CAC. So there'll be some good teams already not invited to this. Yeah, I think the Thunderpick could be an option for us. Could very well be an option for us. And yeah, so maybe that's the deciding factor for a lot of teams, actually, is that they don't want to play this because they want to play this and this. But also a lot of teams who are already invited to CAC won't need to play this, so they might play Fisher. And then some of the big teams might already get invited to Starladder, the top 4 of Starladder, so they also won't need to play this, and they can just go straight to this. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how this all plays out. We'll know a lot more in 3 weeks' time when the first set of invites go out for the July events. That will fill in a lot of the blanks. Mainly in Pro League will be fully filled up. I don't think there's going to be too many teams that are going to want to go straight from Pro League to China and then come back home from China for a week and a half and then go back to China again and then go to Hong Kong. I mean, China to Hong Kong is obviously completely fine, right? But I don't think there's going to be too many teams that are going to want to do Pro League, China, 2 weeks home, China, Hong Kong. So especially when that Hong Kong event is a week before stage 1. I mean, technically the teams that are playing Blast Rivals probably shouldn't be in stage 1 of the major, so mostly should be fine. They'll probably be the teams in sort of stage 2 and 3, so maybe they'll be fine. But yeah, it's I think teams will probably try and do like Pro League into Bucharest, and they'll try and have like a week off in between the two, or they'll try and do Pro League Thunderpick Bucharest. Just my guess. I hope there's no teams watching this and figuring out all this stuff for their own sake, but I mean, there's nothing you can really do about it. Like, the invites come out, you get the invites, you accept the invites or you decline the invites. There's no real way to game the system at this point. You know, you can plan out an ideal schedule for yourself, but there's no gaming of the system really. It's just fun to look at. I think it's fun to just see what's going on. Yala Compass UA. Oh yeah. So obviously we won the last Yala Compass qualifier. Crushed it. But when's the final for that? The final for that is what? Literally finishes a day before stage 1 of the major. November 23rd. First stage of the major starts November 24th. Which means this must be the media day for the major that it ends on. So the Yala Compass is basically just the not major teams and or the stage 2 major teams. 6 teams get invited directly. On which date? Right. Well, this is going to be a clusterfuck because they're going to invite teams on September the 1st to both the main event and I assume the closed qualifier. Yeah. And then what's going to happen is a bunch of those teams are then going to get to October and then receive their invite to stage 1 of the major, which now clashes with the Alacumbas, and a bunch of teams are going to have to drop out, and then all the slots are going to change around, and it's going to be a disaster. So Yalacumbas just love getting screwed by the major, don't they? And then we've got this event. Does anyone think this event is actually going to happen? Does anyone think this event is going to happen? November 10th to 16th. So what it covers off basically both of these events. Yeah, I'm going to guess it's probably not going to happen, but why doesn't this have the VRS date listed on it? I'm pretty sure it's July, but is it July? I have a strong feeling that the Sky Esports Masters event is probably going to struggle to happen. But you know, I'm happy to be incorrect on that kind of thing. Oh, okay. So Chengdu is inviting on the August update. Chengdu is inviting on the August update, which is the same as Rivals, I think. Oh no, Rivals is using the October update as well. Okay. Interesting. So, yeah, after this weird little section, it would be nice to go to Bucharest. I can't remember if Bucharest is inviting off September, which, from memory, September is not that bad for us. So, like, the other thing that people don't really think about right now is, so we are invited to Fisher, Cologne, and the Bounty, which are like the first 3 big events of the season. But the last one ends in the middle of August. So then there's only, Esports World Cup and Blast Open that take place after that. Is the September cutoff really that late? Wow. Oh no, so this event doesn't count towards the September update. So actually after Bounty there's only one event which counts towards the September update, which is the EWC. So obviously there's these smaller events as well, but big events EWC. So what's this one? Doesn't say. Okay, this has got all the big Brazilian teams in it. So what's going to happen is that we basically have the last events. So these 2 events, and I think technically that event actually. Yeah. So Fisher and Cologne are the last 2 events to count towards the August update. And then Bounty and EWC are basically the only big events that count towards the September update. So we are in a good position to get points to go towards getting invites towards the events that are on the August and September updates, which is like which is Thunderpick, which is Bucharest, which is Chengdu, and I think this is October. But then we suffer because the events that go into the October update, like Pro League and Blast London, we're obviously not a part of. And the October update is the major update. So we're sort of front-loading our points quite heavily, which is why this Fisher and Starladder this Fisher and Starladder event clash is extremely good for us, because we miss out on Pro League and Blast London and EWC. There's sort of like a 3 event deficit we're going to be at, which of course is, we love the word clustering in this industry, in this ecosystem. So if you're a top 16 team now, if you're a top 10 team now, you probably have invites to Fisher, Cologne, Bounty, EWC. You're locked in probably for Blast Open. You're probably locked in for Pro League. You're probably locked in for your choice of Fisher and Starladder. It is next to impossible that you will not qualify for the major. You can basically just tick the major off right now. Like, you're pretty much qualified, because you will not be able to drop unless you perform so unbelievably shit. Like, the shittiest of the shit. Like, if you lose every single match, you might drop out. But you also might not. Like, you also might not drop out of top 16 of Europe if you attend every single event. Because you got to remember, it's top 16 Europe, right? Top 16 Europe is getting invites. So, what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So NIP right now are the 16th team in Europe. Ranked like 24 in the world. 24 in the world. So all these Americas and Asia teams that are like clogging up this lower rank section here, when these invites go out to top 16 teams, and then like a team declines it, it goes to an American team or it goes to an Asia team, not the European teams. So even down here, these European teams are not going to be able to attend all these big events, because they're never going to get the roll down invites to the big events, because the big events roll downs are going to go to all these Americas. And I mean, please, like, if it gets to rank 22, I'm more than happy to accept a big invite. Like, that's fine with me. It sucks that we're so close to these two, but so far away as well. Like, literally just one more match win, or not losing to Tyloo. You can put it either way. One more match win would have been quite nice in this case. I love that our roster's still junior. Oh, junior. But yeah, like one or two more match wins here, and we'd be like, really in a good place. Like, we're actually like, this is almost like 2 matches away from being top 18 again, which I'm hopefully we will catch up with very quickly. But yeah, like these teams up here, they literally, it's next to impossible for these teams to not qualify for the major already. Like, it's just pretty much impossible. Like, if you're in the 3D Max, Heroic, Virtus Pro, Liquid section, yeah, maybe. But these guys, nah, they're qualified for the major already. Like, there's no way they drop so far down. Like, it's next to impossible. Like, just attending these events, which, one, will deny points from the teams below them because they can't attend the events, and 2, just like, they will pick up a win here or there. They will earn prize money. They will earn club share. They just will earn enough points to maintain like enough of a rank that they won't drop out of top 16 in Europe. Like, they're basically assured. It's a bit different in Americas and stuff like that, because like there's teams, like if you think they're taking the top 10 teams in Americas. So again, like Fury are going to be fine. They're not going to drop down below the top 10. Like, they're going to be fine. But like these teams here, I mean, obviously Fury female can't accept an invite as it stands. But actually Fury female have a very good chance of making the major. Actually, wait, no, October. When does Impact Finals actually play out? Because they only jump up when Impact Finals plays. Okay, Impact Finals is the end of November. Okay, so Fury or female will drop down. So like right now, like there's a big old fight going on for top 10 at the major. If you assume that Fury female can't take the invite, wait, I think they've already done it actually, right? Oh, HLTV style have NAMRQ listed. HLTV, you need to fix this shit. None of this exists anymore. Yeah. Anyway, like, I mean, to be honest, like even Pain, Mibber, and us, and Legacy, like because of the events we will attend, like the chances of us losing like 370 points and dropping down here, like it's almost impossible for us. Almost impossible. So, yeah, it's a bit unfortunate because the teams at the top will always just keep accepting invites and the teams at the bottom will just never be able to go to any of these events, so they'll never be able to earn the same points. Like, I'm pretty sure that we can just, like, bomb out of some events, earn 25k from, like, a combined club share and prize money, and that will just keep us afloat above all these teams, just purely from that. And then just win some matches here and there. Should be fine. I would be very shocked. Maybe we can put this on a prediction thing, and someone's going to laugh at me at some point. But if any of Furia, Pain, Mibber, Complexity, or Legacy do not finish top 10 in the Americas rankings by the time the invites come around, like I would be completely shocked, like unbelievably shocked. I think even NRG are gonna coast without having to do anything crazy. They're gonna coast. I think it's worth going back to this whole qualifier thing, right? So, none of Energy, M80, Wildcard when they get back to being North American, like Wildcard are in there. Wildcard are technically ranked 10 in North America when their roster gets North Americanized, which is what I believe they're doing. They'll be back in the North American ranking. Like between Legacy, between Energy, M80, Wildcard, who are the three teams who are going to contest the Pro League qualifier, the Blast qualifier, and the Star Ladder qualifier. Well, there's a few things that can happen, right? There's each of them wins one, and then none of them can earn significant points because they only attend one event. Therefore, they don't have the opportunity to actually like chain together multiple events because, as we said, if they just go and attend that one event, it's not going to fly them up the rankings quick enough because those events are all in August and September. They're not going to get the points to eventually end up high enough in the rankings. What they could do is if one team wins all three qualifiers, then they're cooking. Then they've got a really, really good chance at like zooming up the rankings and making a good go of it. And they won't attend the first events, but they'll play all the qualifiers. They'll play all the events in like August and September. They'll qualify for the major 100% because it's pretty much impossible if you win those qualifiers to not qualify for the major. And then, yeah, they'll have no events in October. Well, actually, I suppose they might have, because they wouldn't have the points in place for the August cutoff. They potentially could have some points in place for the September cutoff if they perform well at Pro League. But they wouldn't have enough. But that would be the only event they could get. So the Pro League event is the important one. The Pro League qualifier is the most important qualifier of the season for all these teams because that's the only one that can get them another invite in place, like before the major, essentially. Right? Are we going crazy here? So if they play Pro League, not Pro League, the Blast qualifier. Or is it the Blast qualifier? No, because this ends in September. So wait, hold on. They actually can't qualify. Oh no. So it is it's the Blast Bounty. So hold on. Blast Open finishes in September. Pro League finishes in October. But Pro League does count. The first stage of Pro League counts for the major, but the second one doesn't. Blast Open does count for the major, and Star Ladder does count for the major. So the only one that can realistically get them. Actually, none of them can get them any events, right? Am I crazy here? They can get... Is it Chengdu, right? Chengdu, we said, was October cutoff, I think. No, Chengdu is also August. Is it Blast Rivals? I think Blast Rivals then maybe. Is that the only event they can get from all that? Yeah, Blast Rivals is October, and the Bucharest is September. Chat, am I going crazy here? So, Chengdu is September cutoff. I just checked. No, sorry, Chengdu is August. So this is an August cutoff. Thunderpick is also August, I believe. I think it's in the... Wait, Thunderpick is also August. Bucharest is September. But none of those events... Like the September cutoff is on the 8th of September. So Blast Open does count. So the Blast Open event is is like the most important event of the season, essentially, for all those North American teams. And the same applies to all the South American teams. Because it's the only event they can go to and play that actually counts towards qualifying for another event that isn't the major. Because if they can get points in before the September cutoff, they can qualify for what was it? PGL Bucharest and Blast Rivals Fall, which is in October. But that's it. Like, do you see how fucked that is right now? That if you don't, like, there's literally nothing to play for almost. Like, some of these teams are essentially playing for 2026 points. Like, they're playing for invites in December and January to the first events of 2026. Because there's almost no events left that they can actually qualify for in 2025. Like, the major cutoff is in October. The Rivals cutoff is in October. Chengdu is in August. When's May Cinematic Masters? Maybe that one's later. I don't know when that one is. Maybe the May Cinematic Masters is slightly later. But that would be like the only one that I can think of. Mesa is... They haven't announced it. So, yeah. That's unfortunate for them. Bucharest was August, I think we said, right? No, Bucharest is September. So they can get a Bucharest invite, and they can get a Blast Rivals invite, and they can get a major invite. But that's it. So there's no way of like getting another invite from your success, pretty much, unless you do well at Blast Open, and like you wouldn't just have to do well, you would have to do insanely well, because Bucharest is top 16 flat, so you have to be like top 16 in the world, and Rivals is even worse. Rivals is top 4 in the world and number 1 in your region. So, yeah. I feel extremely sorry for teams. No, so this is a good point. Are local NA events just not worth much for VRS? Yes and no. They are worth points they're worth a lot of points. They are worth disproportionately way more points than they should be. And teams can definitely use them. And I know, for example, there is... have they announced it? Fuck. Hold on. Need to check if they've actually announced it before I go and tell everyone. Yeah, they have. Good. So there is, for example, this. Frag Knox Esports in Knoxville, Tennessee, September 5th to 7th. This promises to be what I would assume to be an extremely well-attended event. Good to note that it takes place at the same time as the finals of that Blast Open event I just said. So if you're the team that does win the Blast Open, you theoretically can't. Well, if you're the NA team that does theoretically win the Blast Open qualifier and goes to Blast Open, you also can't play Philadelphia in theory. So that's unfortunate for the teams dealing with that. But yeah, these events are disproportionately high value compared to I guess the bigger events. The reason for that is that LAN points, as we call them, or LAN wins, do not scale with the quality of the event. So one LAN win at Philadelphia is worth the same as winning the major, in terms of just like that singular aspect of the ranking and any match. So like a BO1 at the major is worth the same as winning the grand final of the major in terms of the LAN wins. So you can rack up some pretty serious points from some of these smaller LAN events. It's why we're seeing really big teams go to, well, not really big teams, but like big teams, NIP, for example, going to Philadelphia, going to the Glitched Masters that happened last week. It's just a very good way that you could potentially earn like 200 points just from winning LAN matches. So yeah, there are potential for teams to do this. But I still don't think it's going to put them in a position where they're going to jump up so high that they are going to make it into the top 16. And if they're not making it to the top 16, then they're still not getting the invites. Because those top 16 teams, you got to remember, the top 16 teams are getting invites to all the events, pretty much. And if it's like top 12 and then there's roll downs, they're still going to get good invites to most of these events. So going to one smaller event isn't going to offset a top team going to multiple big events, most likely. And then you've still got to win that event. So like even if, for example, let's say NRG win the Blast Open qualifier, they go to Blast Open, you've got MAT, Wildcard, Blue Jays, everyone else. Only one of them can rack up all the points, realistically. Like two of them might get decent amounts and one gets like significant amounts, but realistically they're still not going to get crazy amounts of points. So yeah, it's going to be tough for a lot of these teams. This is very well placed, by the way. Like 5th to 7th of September is literally the day before the cutoff. So, I mean, the cutoff is 1st of September. So this is after the September cutoff. So even this doesn't count. Which also means that Blast Open doesn't count. Why did I think the cutoff was the 8th of September? It's not, it's the 1st of September. So literally none of these events count before the September cutoff. So you're just fucked, aren't you? Like none of these teams can actually get an invite pretty much to any of the big events. Like if you're a North American team, it is dire out there right now. Like seriously dire, actually. In terms of like global big event attendances. Like, you know, you can attend Blast Open and you can attend Pro League. Like Energy are already at Pro League, so they've secured that, which means that it's between MAT, Wildcard, Blue Jays, Marsborn, all those guys for the second Pro League slot. But the first stage of Pro League doesn't end until October 1st, which means that will count for the major. Stage 1 will, which is good, because that's what the NA teams will be in. But the major, while good to qualify for, most of the teams like Energy, Wildcard, MAT, they're probably already at the major. They probably will already secure the points to be at the major. So not super impactful for them. It could technically get them a Blast Rivals invite. Like, that is also October. So a good performance at stage 1 of Pro League could help them with that. But that's it. That's all they're going to get for that invite basically. Like Blast Open will help a lot more with. If a team can attend Blast Open and Pro League, then they're in with a good shot at trying to upset maybe for like Blast Rivals or something like that. But it's still very unlikely. It's a tough time out there for some of these teams. I feel like I've spent like an hour just talking about the schedule, and now I'm getting more depressed about how bad it is for these teams. We are sorry, 1 second. We are extremely privileged. I'm not going to use the word lucky because we earned it by performing. We are extremely privileged to be attending those first few events of the year. Having the opportunity to try and earn some more points before any of these other cutoffs, before like the August cutoff, before the September cutoff, is a huge benefit to us. We could still lose all our matches and fuck everything up like we did at the start of this year, but hopefully we won't. It's not going to be easy out there for any of these teams. And like, even worth noting that like, even if you do manage to chain like Blast Open and ESL Pro League together, even if you manage to chain both of them together, which is definitely possible, you still have to factor in that a team like us can still attend both or one of Fisher or Starladder after you finished, or like during the same time. So like Pro League starts on the 27th and runs until October 1st, and that will count towards the major cutoff. But the second half, the playoffs, or the stage 2 and the playoffs, will not count towards the major cutoff. Whereas we will attend all those events and then probably go to Fisher or Starladder and can still earn more points. Whereas these events won't count towards those cutoffs because the Fisher and the Starladder cutoffs are both in July. So like we also get an event in September to counter the Pro League and a bit of countering to the Blast Open. So it's going to be tough. It's going to be really tough out there for a lot of these teams. I don't envy them at all. This is I'm sort of giving everyone their I don't know, their plan for the season. But I mean, I don't want NA teams to do badly. I just don't want them to do as well as us, which I guess is fair. Yeah. Damn, that's rough. Yes, Frag is going to Knoxville. Will July? Oh, sorry, Masmol. Will July count through wildcard invite? Can you elaborate on that a bit more? I don't know when you sent it, so I don't know which event you were talking about. Feel free, by the way, everyone, to just start throwing out random questions, and we will answer them. I can see I've now been streaming for 1 hour and 42 minutes, which is a very good 1 hour podcast, as always. They always joke to me, the guys at the HQ, they're like, oh, another great 1 hour podcast. And it's like, oh, cool. It's now nearly 2 hours long again. Unless there's any questions, I will just call it quits because it is 11 o'clock here and I'm trying to get a lot of beauty sleep this week. My throat was very sore this morning, and I'm trying to get as much sleep as I can, much rest and recovery. I'm doing a half Ironman on Sunday, which is in now 4 days, or 4 sleeps time. So yeah, just going through my last few days of rest and recovery and tapering down my training a bit. And it's taking a bit of a toll on me, so I'm just trying to get as much sleep as possible. You were memeing at IEM Kettering and getting VRs through there. I mean, memeing at IEM Kettering, just to clarify, IEM Kettering, he means Epic LAN, is it 44, 46, 48? What number are they on these days? I don't even know what number they're on. Epic 45. Epic 45. Wow, that's holy shit. I just logged into my Epic account. Wow, it's been a while since I've been to Epic. The last Epic LAN I went to was Epic 9, which was the 19th to the 22nd of July 2012. So the last time I went to an Epic LAN was 13 years ago nearly. Nearly 13 years ago in a month. My first one was Epic 7. So that was in 2011. That is a long time. Yes, Masmal, I've been speaking to Gumpster, and he's been telling me that there's some big teams trying to come. So he's enjoying that a lot as well. Which is good. Like, the fact that Epic LAN are getting some big teams, that's fucking cool, man. Like, Epic are a bunch of really good people doing some really good stuff. They've been going around for, I mean, as you could just tell, they've been going for, what, 13 years at least? I mean, I don't remember when the first event for Epic LAN was. I assume a bit before that, a few years before that. I think Epic LAN was born out of Cluck LAN, if I remember. Like, there used to be a LAN called Cluck LAN, which was Central LAN UK, which no longer exists anymore. But it's become Epic LAN, I think. So I think that like series of events has been going for like 25 years almost, maybe. Like certainly into like the 20s, certainly into like 20 years, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, I love the Epic LAN guys. I got stopped. I used to work for them. The 3 events I went for them was as staff. Yeah, I had to stop working for them because I started a full-time job with their competitor, which is sort of, well, that was my first paid full-time role in esports back then. So yeah, had to let the Epic LAN guys go, but yeah, they're doing some good work out there. I always look at them and try and think if I can rent their PCs or something when we go to the UK to do some like boot camps or something, but unfortunately it never quite lines up. That's a shame. Well, we haven't had any questions, or I haven't had any questions. There's no we involved in this. So I think I'm going to do the thing where I learnt last week, where I go bam, and I can never get this right. Go buy a Complexity Core tee. They look really cool. Otherwise, just go grab the 2025 jersey. You know you want it. Look at that logo. Look at it. It's so stretched. I actually think the logo is slimming. Because the logo is so big, it makes you look slim. That's what I'm going with. And you can buy all those up at the shop, which is up there. My webcam software, I try to blur my finger. It's making my finger look all kind of janky. Ugh. Go to the shop. Go to the Discord. The Discord's fucking cool, guys. You can hang out and just ask me random questions and shit all day long. As far as I'm concerned, the Discord is my second part of my job. So head over to the Discord, which is that one, and you can talk to me as long as you want. It's almost like a free AMA every single day of every single week. What else is there? Oh, yeah, of course, guys. Head over to the Face It Club. We are going to be running another Face It community night. Don't hold me to this right this second. Penciling in the date for the 29th of June. So that's not this Sunday, but the following Sunday. Planning it in for that date. Still need to get the little finalize things, make sure all the players are fully available, but I do believe I have 2 players available for that. So yeah, pencil that in, 29th of June, Face It Community Night, where you can play with 2 of the pro players. They'll queue up in the, they'll create lobbies in the Face It. Oh, shit, what's it called? Is it called the Hub? Is it called the Clan? I don't even know what it's called anymore. We have a Face It Clan, Hub, team thing, club. It's called a club. Not called a hub, it's called a club. We have a Face It Club. You can win prizes on the leaderboard, and you can, I think we usually do double XP for these nights, but don't hold me to that either. The details will come soon, but you can certainly join 2 of our pro players and play some pugs with them, which will be fun. You guys know how much of a pug demon 60 is, so yeah, that'll be fun for you guys. He loves a good old pug, that guy. So, 60 was pugging at like 7:30 in the morning or 8 in the morning in Austin, and in Bucharest actually, to get ready for our early morning games. So yeah, that guy's a demon. So yeah, penciled in for the 29th of June. We still need to announce it officially, but that is the date that I've been working towards. So hopefully that'll be the date that it happens. And yeah, have a great evening or morning or afternoon. Not morning. If it's in morning, you're doing something wrong. But certainly have a great evening. Have a great night if you're in Europe, along with me. And yeah, I will see you guys. Shit, hold on. Yeah, I will be here next week. Next week will be my. So I'll have 1 week off in July because I'm on vacation. So next week will be my last one before we go for vacation. So we can wrap up the major. We can see if Valve just drop any obnoxious rule changes straight after the major, which is definitely possible. And yeah, we will go from there. And then we'll have a week off in July. So July 2nd won't happen. And then we'll be back at full speed by July 9th. May even be at a boot camp by then. So we will see. Things are coming thick and fast for us. So yeah, have a great evening, afternoon, wherever you are in the world. And I'm going to play the outro. And turn your speakers down, everybody. Turn your speakers, turn them down. Because I know what happens when I play the outro. It plays some obnoxiously loud music. And you're all going to hate me. So yeah. Turn your speakers down, turn your headphones down, just bring them down just a little bit. Because when I click this button, it's going to play loud music, I think, through your ears. So enjoy.